Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the TTV News with some last events in our province, and here are our stories today. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to organize the implementation and effective performance and task of the state budget revenue and expenditure, ensuring that the request of the government, the chairman of the People's Committee of TayNinhTV Province requested the heads of provincial agencies and units to the chairman of the People's Committee of District, Town and TayNinhTV City should focus on organizing and closely managing revenue sources, continuing to implement the solutions to collect correctly, fully and promptly expand the revenue base, especially from e-commerce and digital platforms, and at the same time fight against tax loss. Specifically, the chairman of the Provincial People's Committee requested the People's Committee of District, Towns and TayNinhTV City to complete a plan to use increase in the state budget's revenue in 2022 and submit it to the People's Council at the same level in accordance with the regulations. To reserve expenses, especially recurrent expenses, review and advance spending tasks that are not really urgent, cutting expenses that are not really urgent also, cut expenditures of the central and local budgets that have been allocated in the early year estimates but have not been allocated as of June the 30th of 2023, except for special cases decided by the Prime Minister. Provincial level agencies assigned to manage national target programs should study and advise the Provincial People's Committees to amend and supplement to fully promulgate according to their competence regulatory documents and management solutions, executive management to organize the implementation, striving to disperse 100% of the allocated capital in 2023, at the same time actively implement and disperse capital in the 2022 plan to switch the source to 2023 according to regulations. And on the morning of June the 22nd, the Provincial People's Committee held a regular meeting in June to evaluate the implementation of the Socio-Economic Development Plan in the first 6 months of the year and set out key tasks for the last 6 months of 2023, organized in the direct and online forms to the principal connecting with 9 districts, town and TayNinhTV City. Mr. Nguyễn Thanh Ngọc, chairman of the Provincial People's Committee, chaired the meeting. Director of the Department of Planning and Investment, Kiều Công Minh, said that in the first 6 months of this year, the province economy grew positively and achieved by the growth rate of 4.07% compared to other localities in the southeast region. TayNinhTV ranks the second in terms of economic growth in the region. And investment promotion, trade and tourism are actively implemented also, opening up many cooperation opportunities for business in the area. The result of capital to attract foreign investment increased quite well over the same period, up to 126%. Estimated the total state purchase revenue in 6 months in the province reached for 6,042 billion Vietnam dong, reaching for 54.9% of the estimate and down to 2.5% over the same period. The units using public investment capital have made a great efforts in implementing and dispersing public investment capital since the beginning of the year. The disbursement rate in the first 5 months of 2023 of the TayNinhTV Province ranked 5th out of 63 provinces and cities, according to the announcement of the website of Ministry of Land and Investment. In 6 months, the number of visitors to tourist attractions in the province reached nearly 3.5 million, with a total revenue of nearly 1,450 billion Vietnam dong. TayNinhTV has become one of the outstanding destinations in the country, and the quality of tourism services is increasingly improved, creating motivation and advantages to promote the development of tourism in the province. The national defense security is guaranteed. No hotspots on the border area are allowed. Economic diplomacy makes practical contributions to promoting the trade cooperation, creating conditions for the local economy to continue to develop.
On levels, ranges and localities need to focus on early completion of planning as a basis for economic and investment promotion. This is the direction of Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee Nguyễn Thanh Ngọc at the June regular meeting in the morning of June 22nd. At the meeting, after commenting, analyzing and clarifying the advantages and limitations in the implementation of socio-economic development plans in the first 6 months of the department's ranges and localities, the chairman of Provincial People's Committee Nguyễn Thanh Ngọc acknowledged the efforts of on-level sectors and localities to maintain the province's economic growth. However, it is still not as expected. The office will advise the government to assign each sector and each locality to specifically assess the achievement, sub decrease in each field to determine clear objective and subjective causes, thereby proposing a solution for that field, not a general solution. For example, the Department of Planning and Investment is assigned to assess the causes and propose solutions to promote economic growth. The chairman of the Provincial Business Committee noted 12 solutions for all levels, ranges, and localities to focus on implementing in the remaining segments of 2023, in which the chairman of the Provincial Business Committee noted 12 solutions for all levels, ranges, and localities to focus on implementing in the remaining segments of 2023, in which the chairman of the Provincial Business Committee proposed that on levels, sectors, and localities should focus on directing to early completion of plannings as a basis for economic and investment promotion, focus on directing the drastic implementation of the government directives on economic recovery solutions. At the meeting with the departments and sectors in the morning of June 21st, the Economic Budget Board of the Provincial Business Council has some recommendations for the Department of Construction in the field of minerals. Accordingly, the Economic Budget Committee proposed the Department of Construction to speed up the construction progress and submit the planning for exploration, exploitation, and use of minerals as common building materials and pit in TayNinhTV province until the end of 2030, with a vision to 2050. This includes reviewing and adjusting the 2018 Master Plan, considering cases where mineral exploration licenses have been granted, mineral reserves have been approved, and mineral reserves have been collected for granting mining rights, but not in the 2018 mineral planning. The Economic Budget Board of the Provincial Business Council also recommends the Department of Construction to advise the appropriate plan for mineral exploitation in the province, ensuring the balance of use demand in the period. Avoid the situation of fixed scarcity that push up the price of materials. The mining plan will also serve as the basis for management and licensing of exploration and exploitation, as well as ensuring the effective rotation of unexploited mineral resources.
The second TayNinhTV Television Youth and Children Football Tournament of 2023 TayNinhTV Cup took place with a last match of Group A and B, and all the teams have been identified in the semi-finals. There were no surprises in the last match of Group B in the junior tournament. Hoa Thanh Tao continued to show the strength of the championship candidates with a convincing 6-1 victory over Gò Dầu District. In the next match, Trảng Bàng Tao overcame Tân Châu after a 3-1 victory, and thus the two pairs of matches in the semi-finals and the teenage have group where Human Châu District met Trảng Bàng Tao and the Tao of Hoa Thanh will have a confrontation with the Châu Thành. In the last match of Group B for the children age group, Hoa Thanh Tao overcame the dramatic Trảng Bàng Tao with a score of 2-1 to win the tickets to the semi-finals, and Tân Châu District had a strong 4-6-0 victory over Human Châu District. The matches in the semi-finals of the children's semi-finals have also been determined. That is, Tân Biên meets Hoa Thanh Tao and Tân Châu will meet TayNinhTV City. TayNinhTV Province is implementing the National Target Program for the Socio-Economic Development in the ethnic minority areas in the province, Phase 1 for 2022 and 2025, according to the Provincial Committee for Religion and Ethnic Minorities. The capital sources have been fully allocated to implement the program. And TayNinhTV Province enjoys and implements for 7 over 10 component projects of the program to support materials, spiritual life, and economic development for ethnic minorities in the province, with a total funding of more than 50 billion Vietnam dong from the state budget. Currently, agencies, units, and localities are urgently implementing tasks within their assigned scopes and fails to ensure the prescribed progress, such as operating the centralized water supply station for the people of Khmer ethnic group in Hoa Hiệp Commune of Tân Biên District, building a house of ethnic culture supporting ethnic minority households, to purchase agricultural tools and machinery to change the jobs when needed. On the evening of June the 21st, at the Center of Culture and Arts of TayNinhTV Province, the opening ceremony of the 12th Southeast Family Festival in 2023 took place. Attending there were Mr. Võ Đức Trong, standing vice chairman of the Provincial People's Committee and head of the steering committee of the movement on People Unite to Build Cultural Life and Family Work in the province. In 2023, with the theme of Happy Family, a Prosperous Country, the opening ceremony of the 12th Southeast Family Festival in 2023 was attended by 18 typical families from the Southeast provinces and officials, churches, and the people of TayNinhTV Province. The families attending their festival are typical, happy, and have a good job position, contributing to the society and raise the children well for the study, and are typical cultural families in the locality direction also. The festival is rotated between the provinces in Southeast region in order to facilitate exchanges between typical cultural families, propagandized to build a prosperous, progressive, eco, and happy Vietnamese family. After the opening ceremony, the TayNinhTV host delegation participated in the Talented Family Contest with a theme Trend to Happiness, sharing the differences in each family's life has been sharing the differences in each family life that the members of those families need, and there must be the sympathy, sharing, and understanding to build a happy family together. We turn to other news. On the morning of June the 22nd, TayNinhTV radio and television station held a ceremony to announce the costume to participate in the Sport Festival of Elation Cluster number 7 of the radio and television stations of the Southeast provinces in 2023. The Sport Festival will take place on the 7th and 8th of July in Bình Thuận province, along with the preliminary conference where seminars on radio and television work. Sport Festival will organize sports competition between the units. To prepare to attend the Sport Festival, TayNinhTV radio and television station established the teams to practice in order to create the best conditions to compete. The men's soccer and women's volleyball teams have received the competition uniforms. On this occasion, Hải An TayNinhTV Captain Football Club also sponsored men's and women's t-shirts for athletes of TTV 11 participating in the sports activities. At the ceremony, Mr. Vũ Xuân Trường, director of the radio and television station, wishes the athletes the best competition, showing the sports spirit and image of TTV 11 to other stations. And ladies and gentlemen, in the trend of strong development and non-stop competition, TTV 11 is always interested in improving the quality of radio and television programs to meet the audience demand for access, information, and entertainment. And TTV 11 being loved by the audience is a great success, the result of the efforts and determination of the united collective to do well in the roles as an important bridge point between the party, the state, and the people. In today's society, when information technology develops rapidly and strongly, it has put a great pressure on the press agencies. Audiences need to access information quickly, accurately, and ensure the objectivity. Therefore, TTV 11 and TTV 11's journalist team always constantly implement many solutions, not only innovating technology, applying digital platforms to broadcast programs, but also constantly innovating and improving the quality of the programs, the number of programs on radio and television station. And that effort has brought TTV 11 new energy sources, a new color, well received by many audiences inside and outside the province. For the programs of the radio and television station TTV 11, the station now has a lot of progress. There is a noticeable improvements in terms of picture and sound, and the content of the broadcasting programs is very rich, and especially where I can watch on my cell phone replays. Personally, I like to watch the patriotic emulation programs. In this patriotic emulation program, we can see the real examples of the real people in all fields of the labor and production, as well as in the social life. And through this program, everyone can follow. And recently, when I watched the news program of the radio television station, I found that there are many new features in the content, as well as the programs are more diverse and rich and more attractive to attract the young people to watch more programs of the radio television station. And for the station, it has operated more often the programs of the unions, meeting the propaganda needs of the unions to the local people. The radio and television station has made many improvements. The first is the quality of the picture in terms of the contents of the programs. On the youth side, the programs about the groups are more special. There is a lot of useful information for the youth union members to learn. For example, information about the law helps youth union members understand more about the law of the state. and carefully cut each frame, adhere to the principle of truthfulness and objectivity of each information source. The journalists of TTV 11 brought the breath of life into each work. Audiences love TTV 11 more, and therefore, the programs are more and more interactive with the audience. The result achieved is a series of continuous efforts of the team of leaders, civil servants, officials, and employees of TTV 11, and the trend of integration is opening up many opportunities as well as challenges for the journalists of TTV 11, and it is the fight and the love of the audience that have added the energy to help the TTV 11 teams to overcome difficulties and challenges to best fulfill its missions. And that's all for the TTV News today. Thank you for tuning in with us and see you next time.